podcast, we have our mascot with us today, our friendly crab, aka Cody. He just got done at a business meeting in Miami, so he can't be on camera.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in the middle of my conference.
No, we're back at it again. We've is this our 4th week now? We've been consistent with. I'm super proud of us. We're back at it. We've got our regulars here with us, the two dynamic duo of Matt and Hayden, and Cody, who's the jokester of the team. So as you can see, he's actually doesn't have a webcam this week apparently. So you're just going to see the picture of Mr. Krabs.
Wait, that's not him. It's Business Crab.
Business Crab. But yeah, we have a fun one today. We've got a couple tournament results from Dallas, Texas that about half of us went to go play in, I think. And then the first official event in North America, the CCQ in Vegas, is next weekend. And so we're going to talk about what the meta looks like going into Vegas and kind of what we expect to come out of that. And that should be a pretty good show for the day. So with that said, I guess let's go ahead and jump into it, because we always run long now that Cody always gets off track and talks about random stuff, and now he's a crab.
Like you're blaming me for a lot of things, and I don't know why. I'm obviously a very busy guy at business meetings.
That's why, because you're a busy guy at business meetings, and so you get to. I don't know where I'm going with that one. But anyways, yeah. So
like an ADHD kid since I'm not on camera.
Anyways, so Matt and Hayden did go to the Dallas tournament last weekend and played on the Saturday tournament. And so, yeah, I wanted to have you guys kind of talk about your weekend and what, if anything, changed from the Sharp tournament, and how we think the meta has changed and already evolved, because it seems to be moving very rapidly from the testing that we've done. So just curious what you guys have seen from in-person stuff.
Well, I think I played 2 Ruby Amethyst when I'm in like Swiss, and then 1 Purple Steel.
Yeah.
What was my last one?
I don't know. You got to tell me.
No. It was in the Green Purple. Green Purple. Yeah. And then I ID'd. It was only 5 rounds of Swiss, and I went 4.
You were the 1 seed, weren't you?
Yeah, I was the 1 seed.
Yeah.
401.
How was the green purple match? You were on blue steel again. I don't know if you said that already.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was pretty easy. One game I got to game 1. I won the die roll, and I was able to like spooky sight on turn 6, and it was just the game. And then I went 2nd, and I spooky sight on turn 4, and I just won the game.
So no shift Webby is what you're saying.
He didn't play it. He was like more low to the ground aggro.
Okay, that's an interesting take then. I was going to say no shift Webby, but if I guess that's not the case, then
yeah, he had an interesting list. He was doing more of the whisper synergy stuff.
Oh, yeah, I do remember watching the stream now, and it just being a bunch of like the Flynn and the Megara, right, that boosts and quests and yeah.
And then I played him in the top 8 match, but I had a deck list error. I had 1 too many Kitas or 1 less Kita on my submitted list than I had in my deck. Last minute I swapped develop for a Kita, and I got a game loss for that. And then I play that same purple steel guy or purple green guy.
Tisk.
I know. I won game 1, and then game 2 he had a really aggro start, and I didn't have spooky sight.
Bummer. Well, there's a valuable lesson to be learned there, people. Make sure you submit the right deck list, I guess.
Oh, and I have one too, because I lost from also a non-gameplay misplay. Because yeah.
What? Well, did I know this?
I think so. I don't know. In round 1, I playing the blue steel mirror match, and The
Oh,
guy,
yeah, I do know
I
this.
lose game 1 and then I win game 2, and in game 3, for reference, the clock for some reason is counting up. It's like messed up at first, and then it's counting up, and it was just weird the whole like at the beginning, and I just assumed they were going to get it fixed, and then in the midway through game 3, I'm just not paying enough attention, and I'm not watching the clock because I didn't think we were like about to go to time, and as I'm about to end my turn, they call time, and me and my opponent have like a little miscommunication. I thought he was going to be turn 0, but he thought I was turn 0. But it ended up like, I mean, it made sense. I should have been turn 0 by the way the rules work, but I really should have just ended my turn 5 seconds before, and then I wouldn't have drawn. And I drew at 19 lore. So yeah, that was a lesson that I've already learned before, and I just wasn't locked in enough to pay attention to the clock. It was just me being too relaxed, probably.
So how did the rest of your run go then?
I was mad after that. So I played the next round. I lost the next round, and I just dropped. I didn't even play round 3 because even though I was technically still alive, I could have won 3 in a row and made it at 3-1-1. But I was just mad, and so I went to the little convention that they had going on.
That sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, I mean, if I hate giving up, like, because on one side of it, I feel like it's giving up, and I'm mad at myself for giving up. But on the other side, like, I know that I'm not playing at the level I want to be, and I'm not as focused as I should be, and it's more of just like I can just take that lesson and move on instead of continuing. But I probably should have just kept playing, but I was mad at myself.
So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those where I definitely get it, but I think you're right. I think that will be scenarios like that happen that you have to play through. And so just like putting yourself in a position to like have to play through it, is probably better in the long run, but I can understand that too, because I get really frustrated. There's a local store here that I've went to 2 set champs from, and I am 0-3 in that store. The last one there, it was really small. It was a 4-rounder, and I lost round 1, and I was just like, all right, I'm out.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. I was like,
definitely,
what is this wrong with you?
Yeah, so I definitely can relate, but at the same time, probably not good on my part either. But and it's funny because Devin lost round 1 there too, and then he ended up in the finals. But
Cody freaking always does that. It feels like every tournament I'm at, I feel like he loses in the first couple rounds, and then somehow top 8.
Yeah, I gotta wake up.
What was you got boxes for pricing, right, Matt?
They had a buyback of $90 per box, and I just took the cash to pay for pretty much the whole trip. So
cool.
I went for free pretty much.
That works.
Yeah,
because I thought they were box prizes, and I was just I hadn't heard if you opened anything.
No, so top 8 split. I'm glad I did because of the deck list there. So
sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I got $315 in cash, and I mean, I made a little bit because the hotel was pretty cheap.
Pretty solid. Did you guys learn anything this weekend from last weekend that like as things have evolved that need to continue to change for the lists that we started at Sharp to be successful?
Yeah, there were good players that were playing green purple. Like, they were real. It wasn't just like random people playing green purple. It was like a specific group of people playing green purple. So
yeah,
I would say that deck is lurking in the shadows. I mean, it's not Mo Release's guide and everyone like knows about it, but
yeah, I should have started with that. If you haven't checked out Mo's guide yet, if you're a green purple player and you want to learn how to play it like a professional, check out his guide. It'll be linked in the show comments below. It's very, very thorough, and it's really, really good. So yeah, if you're going to Richmond or you're playing in any CCQs or you're playing any big tournaments, even set champs, it's a very complex play line deck to play. There's so many decisions to be made, and so he goes through like all of that and does a fantastic job with it. So yeah, I would check out his guide for sure. But yeah, we obviously talked with him on the show last week about his green purple and kind of how it's evolved and how it's really targeting a lot of the blue stuff. And I think in the testing since then, I've definitely felt that's very much coming. So that's interesting to see in person too.
Yep. Another card I played over the weekend was Fire the Cannons. Well, Hayden and I had the same list, but Fire the Cannons was absolutely like my favorite card of the weekend.
That's crazy.
I got to hit like Flynn Riders. I hit a Ruby Amethyst, had Lumiere. I got to hit a Lumiere. It's just like you get to take off the 1-drop or 2-drop, and then they just don't get the free lore that they normally would. So it's a lot easier to win when you have the Fire the Cannons.
How many Fire the Cannons were you on?
2. I would like to have 3 though. I just couldn't fit in because of uninkables.
What's the max? I don't know if we've asked this or not. What's the max uninkable count that you guys think Blue Steel can be playing with Cindy and
I mean, really, it's like 18.
Tipo?
Yeah,
I think
maybe 19.
Maybe 19, but 18 is like I feel like I don't really ever brick with uninks. I did once, but I still won the game because I had the Fire the Cannon, so I was able to fire the cannons. I got a turn 2 ramp, missed turn 4 ink altogether, but then I had top deck ink the next turn.
Trying to find it on Ink Decks. I don't know why it's not popping up. I see the Sunday tournament. It was.
Yeah, they didn't post the list. I can send you the list.
Oh, they didn't post the list. They have the Sunday ones on here. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so 2 Fire the Cannons. Yeah, we've definitely been testing Fire the Cannons, and I think the other thing that has definitely come up is I thought like Chroma Dogs would kind of just be dead, and I guess other related / CCQ news is there were 2 over the weekend in Europe, and one of them, Chroma Dogs, won, and it was a very high representation of the top cut too. I think it was 5 of the top 32, and like the second or third highest representation, which was kind of crazy to see too. And so I think between like Spooky Sight and Fire the Cannons, a lot of those like spot removals for these more aggressive decks is becoming much more necessary.
Yeah, it kills the Webby too.
Yeah, and I know we've talked about this a little bit, but if you're playing like if you're playing 3 of, to me that seems crazy. But if you're playing a 2 of and then you don't see it on 1, then the Webby just lives and you don't get to do that. And so
that's why you play 3. So you draw it when you want it.
Hayden and I were going. I mean, it wasn't about this necessarily, but Hayden and I were duking it out yesterday, talking about some different matchups and some different stuff. And so we're just about to go back at it again, aren't we? No, I think I just hate like tech cards, and I know it's not a tech card because I know it has like value later on in the game, but ultimately, like that's why you want it, is because you want to hit the Webby on 1. And I hate cards like that you have to see on 1. It just seems like the consistency just isn't there like you would want it to be, because it's just you have to see it on 1, and it's a very specific card, and the overall math says that's a very low chance of happening.
I mean, I guess we have a mulligan though. I mean, you get to just keep it sometimes, and then you have it.
Sure.
So, and that's when I think it's like definitely shines, is when you just see it and keep it, and then you get to sculpt your hand to be a good hand. I mean, it definitely has a lot of downsides too. Don't get me wrong; it's not just like the right choice. I'm definitely not saying that, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't like the idea, like in general, of like having to again, play like low cost quote tech cards. I think, tech cards need to be like in the middle of your deck so that you can like shape your couple turns around getting to that place. Whereas a 1 cost tech card is just really difficult to play around, because then you're like you're hard mulliganing for that when you really should be mulliganing for Tipo Cindy, whatever your actual game plan is.
I mean, I wasn't really hard mulliganing for Fire the Cannons necessarily. I mean, if I got ramp and I saw it, it was really good.
Mm-hmm. Keep it. Yeah, you
keep it. Like, and it was really good. Like in the late parts of the game, it helps you fix damage with your Vincenzo, your Tinkerbell. The card just like fills in a lot of gaps when you need the damage.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. And for those watching, we have Matt's deck list on stream here now. So yeah, he's got 2 Fire the Cannons, 2 Spooky Sights. I think with the more aggressive style that everybody's seemingly going to now to combat the blue decks, those are very good options, because everything that I've seen in the past, I don't know, basically a couple weeks since the Sharp tournament has just just slowly but surely continued to get faster. And again, the CCQ and one of the CCQs in Europe was the Chroma Dogs, and Blurple won the other one, which I thought was extremely interesting. Any thoughts on Blurple these days?
I think it's still good.
Yeah, it's still good, but I think it's one of those that's like always going to be a contender. But the fact that it won is kind of shocking to me, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really surprise me. I think it's been very strong. It has like if it gets good matchups, it should do well, and it's also consistent. So I think it can beat anything. Like,
can you guys see the list? I don't know if you can. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So here's the Blurple list. I think it's very close to this to the stuff that you've been testing with Blurple, Hayden. Except it's funny enough, like has the Junior Woodchuck guidebooks, but no Tamatoa. So I don't know how we feel about that. That's kind of strange in my opinion, but maybe they feel the books themselves are enough draw.
I mean, it makes sense a little bit. I've been thinking about playing it in that Ruby Amethyst deck I've been playing against you. So maybe, I mean, it makes sense. It's just a good card to like dump your hand and have draw later in the game when you want it. So it's cool. I don't know. It's hard to say, really. I haven't played the deck really that much without the Tamatoas with the books.
What about Hades and Blurple? I feel like on paper I hate Hades and Blurple, but it clearly did work. I mean, if he won a 124 person tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, like you still do have a lot of removal. You can draw into the unknowns or your sudden scare.
I think the best part about the deck is that for Iago. Like I think no one is playing removal for Iago really, and
yeah, that's fair.
Eat when you play him on 3 against all these decks, really.
Yeah, I think Iago is absolutely nuts right now.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I think other than that, it's very similar to last set. I mean, it's got Basil and Rafiki, 9/1/9 2-drop ramps, 1 Cheshire Cat, which is interesting. I guess it's just some more damage moving and boosting. 2 elephants, 3 bells. The 4 Hades, I guess, like I said, I would really want to test in Blurple, but I think a lot of people do like that. 2 Demonas, and then Monstros and a bunch of tech action cards. But yeah, I think Blurple's good. I think it definitely was understated. I think we talked about that in our tier list, that it was, assumed or presumed to be dead going into this new set. It definitely didn't die, but I definitely feel like everything just got a whole lot better, and it's just kind of a little bit better. So I think in the whole scheme of things, if you're a Blurple fan, you should be happy, but it's a little bit hard of a world for sure.
You probably added that 1 Cheshire Cat over 4 bells from looking at this deck list. I bet you that was a last minute decision, like cut down a bell, just put a Cheshire Cat in. Yeah. Cheshire Cat basically is bell, but kind of sometimes can do different things.
Yeah,
it's also repeatable.
And I guess with magical maneuvers, like if you boost the Cheshire Cat a couple times, you could bounce it back, or with the elephants or something, you're able to create some card advantage that way. I've liked that from the Whispers, from the very beginning, on being able to.
I bet you picking up Hades and doing him over and over again with elephant in the maneuvers is pretty cool too, because eventually it's like, all right, you gonna keep letting me draw 2? Let's build your own second star.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, and I do just really like the workbooks. I know I've talked about this before, but the workbook's ability to like pay the ink essentially ahead of time and then draw when you need to, I think is just like very, very valuable in a Clarabelle Your Welcome world. You just like really have the way to like shape your hand when you need to and how you need to, which I think is just like really, really impactful. And so this is definitely the best deck to utilize the books. And so being able to do that, I think, is probably one of the strongest things that it can do. Again, I think it's weird without the Tamatoas, but I can also understand why, because it definitely does not have a problem of drawing cards.
It's just kind of like, it's probably just like kind of like playing Friends, but the deck's not trying to sing it anymore. It's just like I will randomly just want to draw 2 cards, and you're willing to pay 3 to do it.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
no Cinderella in this deck or Spooky Sight.
There's no.
I mean, I don't necessarily think Cinderella is that good in this deck, but
Yeah, I agree. Because I think you usually want to play some sort of threat on that spot instead of trying to ramp harder.
yeah, you have so many good 4-drops already in the deck.
Yeah, I think just putting pressure on the other blue decks, on 3, where most of the other blue decks are just playing Cinderella on 3, and continuing to just like do their rampy thing. Whereas if you start to put lore pressure on board, or put some threats of some other types like Iago or something else that's going to continue to pressure them for a long period of time, does help you. And then obviously if you're able to put big bodies like Iago or Elephant or even Dumbo or Genie on the board against the other decks, then it's very good, because then you're pressuring the board earlier, where Cinderella doesn't pressure the board much at all. So I can understand. I think Iago definitely into a Webby is probably the worst thing to see. So I guess I understand it. I still think that this is an outlier result, I guess, if that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, let's look at the top. We had a purple steel and came in second place. Blue steel. Let's see what this blue steel was doing. That came in third place. Is this just pretty stock list over here? Yeah, pretty stock list. Does have hooks and Mulans and Kitas, so a little bit more lower end than I think what we've been building. But overall, just different counts essentially of the same stuff that everybody's been playing. But yeah, no green purple at all, which is a little shocking, I guess. Before we would have said that the EU was like the green purple paradise with artifacts, but I feel like Mo's kind of taken over that crown now. And it's definitely pushed it more onto, our side, because he does such a good job, building it and touting it and talking about it, that it's become a very much more stateside deck than I think it ever was. But yeah, no Chroma Dogs in the top 32. There's one Circle of Life deck in the top 8. But yeah, this seems like a very purple steel, blue steel, blurple heavy tournament. Okay, let's turn our attention to this weekend. So the first big tournament of Set 10 for the US is this weekend, the CCQ in Las Vegas. I'm going to try to punch my ticket to the Continentals and win this thing. And I'm in a very bad spot. I don't think so. Oh, I do. I was on the same boat as Matt and Hayden with the blue steel, and I was like fully on board with that. And I think that it's just getting attacked left and right. Like if we look at the Inkdex win rate matrix here, I have this pulled up. I think that it's just like its worst matchups are all the meta stuff. Like if it definitely is, seems to be like the non-meta killer that like a Steel Song used to be, meaning, Steel Song would just basically eat up all of the non-meta stuff, and there was nothing that could like come in and kind of, out resource or value it. And that's kind of what this seems to be too, because it just, really beats all of the non-meta stuff. But if you look at like the top played decks, it says it has a decent win rate into purple steel. I think that's probably coming down. Says has a decent win rate into blue green. To me, that's probably 50-50. Losing into blurple, losing into Chroma Dogs, losing into Circle of Life, losing into green purple, which is definitely on the up and up. So I don't know. I think I don't see a free win anymore with blue steel and a meta deck. That's the problem that I have, is I don't feel like there's any matchup that I can go into with blue steel ramp and just be like, okay, this is one that I've got. If you get into those later rounds, you expect everybody to be playing meta decks, and I just don't feel confident going in, like knowing that if I get matched up against X, Y, or Z, that it's just going to be a free win.
Yeah, but I mean,
hope to have.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, people are definitely ready for the deck now. They've seen it and they know how to play against it a little bit better. But we are also like we're on the cutting edge, I guess, of what's kind of how you would say it, of like what
Sure.
people are building, and like we already kind of understand the ins and outs of most of these matchups, and so we can take advantage. I think it gives you an opportunity to take advantage of it, and I think you're pretty well versed in a lot of different decks. So even if you had to, we decide green purple's the right deck, and you had to pick it up and play it, like you would do all right with it. Like I think.
I did read Mo's Metafy guide,
You read the guide.
I do have that going for me.
Yeah.
I just think that early on things shift so fast. You know, people go ditch to ditch because they see something do well. I think the blue steel success, and I'm like definitely not trying to say like we caused this shift, but I do think we had some sort of impact on it. Hayden's list spread like wildfire. I mean, he had people DMing him, asking him about the list and talking about if this was good and what changes he would make and things like that. And so I know like it was definitely viewed a ton across the board. And so I think that just, you know, was one of the decks that like very much had a target on its back early. And so I think everything has just constantly just like ticked up in speed. And then when you get to, you know, every deck doing that, I mean, I think red purple, you know, you two are like very strong red purple players, and I've always been, and I've talked about that for a little bit, and that's been on the up and up. And then the green purple stuff's on the up and up. And the Chroma Dogs won the CCQ like we talked about, and so that's very much quick and on the up and up. And so I don't see the strength in any of the core matchups, and I don't see any of the other ones that are like strong contenders being, you know, very solid matchups anymore like we did week one, and that scares me. And so I don't know necessarily, like I know not everything's going to be a free win. Again, I say that, and I go in and I say, okay, I want, you know, at some point to be able to like sit down across the table and be like, okay, this is X, Y, or Z matchup. Like I know I should be able to have this one. Like I know that's not going to happen every time, but I do at least want to have some sort of like safety net on like, okay, if there's 4 matches I expect to play, you know, pretty consistently throughout the day, if one of those, you know, comes, you know, across my opponent, then I should be good to go. And that, you know, at least gives me some confidence going into to be able to not like have to grind out every single round. And yeah, I think that blue steel is just getting attacked left and right.
I think you're going about this the wrong way, Zach.
And how is that?
I think they're just I think this is just underselling your value, and you're going to do really good if you play blue steel.
I wish
like
they won't had that confidence in it still. I wish I had that confidence in it still. I'll put it that way.
They're going to get into your match and be like, this is my free win. They
probably will, and then they'll probably do it too.
You'll beat them.
So to me, I think where I'm at for you, I think we should, if you feel how you feel about blue steel, then you should play purple steel as of today. And we're going to play a little bit after this, I assume. And we're going to play the blue steel matchup, and we're going to see how that feels. If you can consistently win that, I think you should feel good about your chances. And tomorrow we like try the blue green matchup and the green purple matchup and see how you feel into that. And then if those feel okay, I think that's not a bad choice. If more people are on dogs, I think you would rather be on that than blue steel. And just like we try to figure out good lines and good gameplay and ways to win the purple steel mirror match, if that's possible. Might not be, but
yeah, I don't know. So here's some data from online testing that people have, and you know, this again, and everything has to be taken with a grain of salt because there's always like positive and negatives to the data set. This data set is much larger of the amount of games that have been logged, but it's also all over the board in the sense of like people are testing stuff, people are going wacky theories, people are just trying new things out to see if it works, people are just throwing things against the wall to see if there's any success. And so like the overall quality of every one of these games is probably a lot lower than the tournament record, but in general this data set is really just big in the overall number of games it's logged. And so like 61% is enormous. and it has like really positive win rates into all the top meta stuff. It's not like there's a quote unquote like really obvious weakness and I'm for purple steel. And so I'm not saying that I'm taking purple steel. I'm just saying like to me that looks like a behemoth. That's a huge uphill battle.
Yeah, I think purple steel is like easier deck to play though. I think blue steel, there's a like I feel like all three of us or all four of us play the blue steel and we all have different ideas of what is the correct play every single turn. I think it's a very difficult
wrong.
because you're playing with like such limited resources like at all points of the game that you have to milk every single card for the max value.
I do love how many arguments we've had just from single turns of blue steel.
I know. I've been making a lot of wacky plays, like trying different stuff lately, so that's part of it too. I haven't been playing as disciplined as I probably would in like a tournament where like everything's on the line and like there's not risk associated, with this gameplay versus like
sure
in a tournament where it's like, oh, I'm gonna give myself the most cards and do the least risky play versus like, oh, this is cool. Let me try this out.
Yeah,
I called him an idiot for it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's fine. I love that. I want you guys to criticize my gameplay. That's how I get better. So
it's not even. I mean, there's obviously I understand and I definitely agree with the fact that there are a lot of just like plays that we're making that we have disagreements on. But I think I just have like a very different philosophy in the just like overall makeup of the deck. Like,
yeah,
we talked about the, you guys being on the cannons and the spooky sites and everything. And like, I just can't fathom dedicating that many resources, especially uninkable slots, to that many of similar. I mean, I know they're not similar cards. Spooky site obviously takes a ton of cards off the board. Fire the Cannons is a very low cost spot removal, but just removal options, I guess. And I'm still like very much on board with strength is important in the deck. And I don't think anybody else is on that boat. I mean, I know that we all talked at the Sharp tournament and everybody was like, strength kind of sucks in this deck and has, started dwindling those copies down. And I don't think anybody's on that anymore aside from me. And so I just, yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just wrong and I don't know how to play it like you guys do. And so if I were more comfortable on like your guys' builds with all that, then it would be a little different. But
I think the biggest difference is, and so I think I've been playing the deck worse over the past like 4 days versus than like I did in the tournament. And I think it does have to do partly with that risk thing I was talking about. Like I was playing very conservatively, like putting Namaris and Jasmines on the board before I was playing Goliaths, like doing things like that and setting myself up. And like now lately I've just been like going for the greedier plays. And I feel like sometimes that it is worse. But also I'm not as comfortable playing in that game setting, like in the Goliath game states as you are. And I know watching your games, you tend to put it on the board every single time and you tunnel into it. But you're good in those game states too. Like you figure a way out of it most of the time. And Matthew plays it a lot differently. Like he like tunnels to Namari most of the time and like stuff like, I don't know. Yeah. It's different.
It's very much a filter deck. I think we've talked about this a little bit and you definitely already said today that, you are always playing on low resources. And so I guess Matt said that the decision making is extremely critical because you don't have a lot of options to make every turn. And so you have to make the best of it. And so getting Amari on board or getting something on board that does allow you a few more, opportunities to get to a better card or to utilize the cards the best way that you have, is really important. But yeah, I don't know. I think
it shines in like those hands where like you like sometimes like you think you like on 5 ink with like Goliath in hand, like you're always like inking Namari playing Goliath. But like sometimes Matthew's just like playing Namari, not inking, keeping those cards in hand. And like I don't know if that's necessarily what you would do, but
it depends. I mean, if I can like concur like Sydney into Namari, but if I have like Hurl or something, I can like go down to like 1 or no cards, then I would go with Goliath. Yeah. But if I have 3 cards in hand after I played the card like Namari and I have 3 cards in hand and one of them's like a Tipo or something, I am going to, and I have Sydney on board, I'm always going to play Namari.
Yeah.
And not ink.
and not ink. Because
Yeah.
use the
Yeah.
Cinderella.
And you use the Cindy ink. I've
Yeah.
gotten a lot better about that too. Just once you get past the Cindy turn, just like letting her be the inking for the turn, because then you don't go down on any resources. Because it makes that turn a little bit more difficult because you have to keep something that you're okay with inking in your hand. But it's again, it's advantageous for your overall resource game. But
I concur.
it's a very tough one. But let me take a step back here. Let's go back to the top of the discussion for the CCQ.
Yeah, that's exactly how the 2-hour blue steel conversation keeps happening.
Yeah.
I was about to tell y'all, y'all are spiraling.
Horses focus on blue steel.
And you tell
That
me
was important.
I get off the rails.
But that was important because, I think that is
I think it is too. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
He was like, we joked about having the blue steel conversation, and y'all are right back to it.
That's how it was for an hour last night in the middle of testing games. But what do we think the meta breakdown is going to be? If you had to put percentages to the top 4 decks.
Okay, let me write it.
What do we think that's going to be? Because
if calculator out.
I think it's going to be. Are we saying purple steel, blue steel, blue green, and then what dogs are purple green?
Yeah, I think green purple probably has to be up there now. So if we look at the overall top number of matches for the top 4 decks on ink decks, which again I think is important for a tournament setting, purple steel is the number 1 most played deck. Blue steel is number 2. Blue green is number 3. Blurple, shockingly, number 4. Dogs number 5. Aggro Amber Steel number 6. Circle of Life Dogs number 7, and then green purple number.
Ooh.
Oh, he's gone.
Zach's gone.
Cody, you're the host. Funniest podcast
ever. Cody, you're the host now.
Okay, what was he saying?
As the president, I think we should have Pizza Fridays.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So it's distribution of the meta, right?
Yeah.
What we expect.
I think a lot of people are going to play purple steel. I have to imagine. You know what? I'm really bad about doing the numbers and stuff, but the way I kind of expect it, especially if you're bigger tournaments where maybe let's just say Richmond was the one coming around the next DLC. I definitely feel like purple steel is the new ruby amethyst. I wouldn't be surprised if we face 3 of them.
I think I think that is a good way to talk about it, where it's more practical. Okay, in a what do we expect, an 8-round tournament, or an 8 or 9-round tournament? How many times do I expect to see this in a range? And I think the purple steel range for me would be 3 to potentially 5. That's what I would expect.
Because it's kind of funny. I feel like now that I said that out loud, I definitely do think that purple steel has become the new ruby amethyst. It's it's easy to play, but it's because it's good, and it doesn't. It's they can have very linear lines about what they want to try to accomplish while being the proactive player in the games. Right? There's so many good turns they get.
Yeah, they have all the best removal, all the best card draw. I mean, they have pretty much everything.
Well,
so definitely, I think is the deck to beat, and then if you know that matchup, then you're already off to a good start.
Well, would you guys say that's too many? After saying it, 3 to 5. 5 sounds like a lot.
I was thinking
5 would be a lot.
2 to 4, yeah. I mean, but high 2, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably.
For how many rounds?
9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if phase 3. I mean, that's I feel like that's it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot there, and I think they will probably win a lot too. Can someone let me in or no?
We gotta let Zach in.
President Crab does not know how to do it.
Yeah, but
top right, he said.
Okay, so yeah, I think 2 to 4, but with a high chance of seeing 3 to 4.
Well, percentage-wise, I would say low 20% of the meta share.
Yeah, that's what I would expect also. Okay, what about blue-green? I think it's kind of fallen off in hype after the beginning of the format, but
yeah,
good.
I think it's still going to be everywhere, and I think it's pretty strong still. Like the only problem with the deck is like it still loses to itself. It has to draw Clarabelle. It has to draw the combo to have like any sort of. I mean, it can still fight through non-combo games, but it really wants to have the combo, and the deck feels super weak without it. So I mean, like I think it's going to be in the low teens, maybe like 13 to. I would say 13% of the meta share. I would expect to play 1 or 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Probably not 3, but maybe 3. What do you think, Cody? How do you feel?
What do you think, Zach?
Oh, the captain's
Zach.
back. Captain
I'm
Zach.
back.
Okay.
I'm back. I don't know what happened.
What do you think, Zach?
What do I think the meta is going to be?
Yeah. Just roll it right in.
I know. I mean, I was listening the whole time. I don't know what happened. It just said, "Oops, lost connection," and then like I refreshed the page, and it was like, "Hey, you're not in here anymore. Like you can't rejoin." And
Did
so
you
I
hear
was
me
like,
say
okay,
that this is gonna be the best podcast ever?
I did hear that part. Yeah.
It's like
It's pretty good host.
the it's like when a school teacher goes down to the office for a second, and it's like everyone loses their shit.
I don't know. Purple Steel will definitely be number 1. I think Blue Steel takes a step back. I don't know if it still will continue to be number 2 or not.
What do you think about my comparison of it being the new Ruby Amethyst?
I don't know what Ruby Amethyst, like Ruby Amethyst is in. It used to be.
Well, like it was just like it's a great deck to pick. It's very easy to figure out like what you're trying to do, and you probably would face a lot of it in a tournament setting. I feel like that's Purple Steel now. And I feel like it's slowly like replaced that exactly what Matt said. It has the best removal, it's got the best card draw, and it's got the best lines.
Yeah, I think it's just the most consistent too. I think what it was missing last set was just like another like removal / draw option, and Hades just like very much fills that void now.
Even the Mona, they technically got 2 like very cool choices.
I think that the lists that I've seen have success. We also had a big tournament here last weekend that was a 3K, I think, that a lot of the Forbidden Mountain people were in, and a Purple Steel deck won that one. And they've gone a little bit lower to the ground and a little bit faster to, not just get just bomb after bomb with the Blue Steels.
But I think that list still played 2 Demona.
Yeah, and it might have. And so, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is when I started playing Purple Steel, it was on 4 Demona, 4 Hades, it's like curved very high into big stuff. And now I think you want to be, just a little bit faster. And like I wasn't on any Dumbos. And so between Dumbo and Hades and Genie and Doc, like that's a lot of draw. And then there's, a pretty decent amount of lore pressure early on, and it's getting a little bit more evasive. So it doesn't just get, completely obliterated by Tinkerbell in the Blue Steel matchup.
Full of threats.
Yeah, and so I think that Purple Steel will definitely be the best. I think it does have the best removal suite. I think it does have the best draw suite. So I think that just makes it very, very consistent, which is something you want to see over a long tournament.
So how many in a 9-round tournament in like Swiss? How many would you expect to play? Like as in a range? That's what we did while you were gone.
My money's on that he says 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3. Because I think it'll be 30%. And so if you're playing, we'll call it 9-10 rounds. I think it'll round up to 3.
Yeah, we were thinking 2 to 4.
Obviously, it's very weird. I mean, I don't remember whose run it was, but it might have been Cody's in Milwaukee, where he just like didn't see any meta decks and didn't see Blurple and didn't see all the. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, played, so in Milwaukee, I played the green purple Cusco deck. Brainiac. I hate that name, by the way.
I do too.
I just hate saying it. But yeah, I wanted to play against Blurple. I placed 1 Blurple player, 3 Purple Steels, 2 Steel Song aggros, and like 2 green purples. Like it was just the weirdest tournament layout. Yeah, and I also famously did have in Atlanta, the very first DLC, I played against 5 Ruby Amethysts in a row.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like a perfect example of what I'm trying to say is like obviously like you could hit the matchup high roll or the matchup low roll, whichever way it is. And so I mean, on average, I mean that's obviously what you have to just kind of, as a player thinking about going into a tournament, trying to position themselves to be good into it. You have to just expect to, some of the normalities of it. And if you do get, the high or low of it, then you just kind of have to deal with it.
Yeah, you just have to know how to play your matchup. So when you do face that deck, you're like, at least you just never want to feel like you just like are taken by surprise. Like you want to know what to do in every matchup, even if it's going to be considered like terrible for you.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that I think that in that advice is very much, I think, the way to approach any tournament for anybody. That's even we're about, I don't know, a month away, a little over a month away from set champs still, I think, but. Anybody that is looking like doing that, I mean, any comfort in just like understanding the matchups and like what you're trying to do to win that is very important to consider. And so, like in an ideal world, I think I would want to bring green purple. We have the best green purple player in the world on our team, and he has very good advice and has a bunch of helpful tips. Obviously, I'm ignoring that, Cody. Thank you though.
Yeah, President Crab, best green purple player.
But even like reading all that, the decision making and the intricacies of the decisions of that deck are so complex that like I was reading his guide and like going through the mulligan strategies, and I'm not kidding. Every single one of them, I was like, that isn't even close to what I would have mulliganed. And reading through his explanation on why and kind of some of the theory behind it, I'm like, I completely understand that. But even with all that theory, I'm not making the same decision. And so it's just really hard for me to get there. And so I definitely, as much as I would want to play that, I don't feel comfortable enough into that. Purple steel, blue steel, and I don't know. I say blurple. I don't even know why I'm considering another one because it's going to be one of those two. I just
a lot of chances for blurple.
Yeah, I just understand the matchups,
the value, the TCG market price.
I just understand the matchup spread between blurple or not blurple between blue steel and purple steel the best, and can just feel confident going into it and knowing what I need to do to win those matches. So I'll probably stick with those two. And Cody, I haven't shown you yet, so thank you for your contribution to the Cindy playset there.
I'm gonna throw up.
And then you got the old Goliaths as well, and so I'm gonna have gotten those, and then I'm gonna end up not playing them. So
you have to play blue steel. You're locked in at this point.
I know I should, but somebody's gonna see my deck and they're gonna be like, "Oh, we got it. That guy's gonna be cool to watch on stream. We should put him on stream." And then I'm 0-2 on stream, so I don't ever want to play on stream again.
It's the best feeling.
What, being 0-2 on stream games?
No, like spending money on a deck, and you're like, all right, watch me go eat shit with my pretty deck.
I think I
bought a place that had player bills before I went to Milwaukee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean,
which I don't regret that.
But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I think
I don't know if I've ever lost on stream.
I won my first one on stream this week.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I think Hayden beat me on stream.
I think I'm like 5-0 or something. I'm real.
He's not. Yeah, between the old South Florida store that is no longer with us.
Yeah, when you gonna get those boxes?
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I mean, you played a couple stream matches on there, I would imagine. You played a couple at the Sharp tournament. You probably are just like a stream slayer.
Yeah, you're like, you put me on stream.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I know 5. I know I've won 5 times on
That's
stream.
crazy. I wish I was that. I just want to be as good as you when I grow up.
Right. We're gonna make a schedule. I'm gonna make a practice schedule for us for Richmond.
Okay, good.
And then we're gonna follow the timeline.
I didn't feel overly invested into Milwaukee, but after being at Milwaukee, I only got excited for the next one. I just want to keep doing them. The DLCs are so much fun.
Are you gonna practice? Like, are you gonna train before? Or
I never said that.
No, I'm asking.
He's gonna wing it.
Yeah, he's asking.
Well, I'm being serious. Like, I know because I know we've talked about it before, and I know it's like a thing you don't like to really overload yourself on, and you're obviously good at not doing it.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna practice.
Okay. Well, I know you're gonna practice a little bit, but I mean, like, are you gonna do that thing?
You're gonna lock in with us.
Are you gonna not overload yourself like you usually do, or are you gonna try to overload yourself?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pick like 2 different decks and try to figure it out. I feel like that's always like my strategy for bigger tournaments. Just go like, which decks look most interesting to me, and then play those 2. and then whichever one I like more, then that's the one I kind of refine. It's very rare I flip through so many different decks.
Mm-hmm. And I think
Like,
that's more fun.
I don't go too drastic. If there turns out to be like a really good deck in the meta, then I'm like, okay, well, that's not the one I pick, obviously, because I never do that. Except for Blue Steel, I guess that one time. Then I'll be like, all right, I just got to figure out how to beat that one, and you just shore up all the other matchups.
Yep.
Because I'm still in the boat of just like, you just got to play whatever you're comfortable with or whatever you want to play, and then you'll figure out the rest. Because I was like, if you always look at these like world champs and everything, we'll use Mo as a great example. They all have like a known deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
DKP is like known for his blue red, Mo's for green purple. Zan did like green steel forever. Karsten, I guess, is more for like steel song, purple steel, right?
Yeah.
Depending on the time frame. So it's like they all have their own like flavors of how they like to play. So like it would be pretty rare that I would like turn around and to see that like Mo is now the most avid blue steel player, you know. Like that's just never gonna happen. Like he's gonna make his deck work. So
but I think it depends, like, I mean, on the format and like where you're at in it. Like for the beginning of this format, like I think you're right. Like it was good. Like it was good for the beginning of this format for me to like play a bunch of different things and be ready to play different things and try to figure out like what the best option was for that day. But that will be less important for Richmond because the decks will be more finely tuned.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of data to work off of. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So
no, I'm right there with you. That makes sense.
So I think you're that idea of picking something you're more comfortable with that you know is going to be good. If you know it's going to be good and one of the top 3 options for sure, then like refining that and getting really good with that is a great idea. But
that's very gracious. You think I would pick something from the top 3?
I know, but that's the problem. That's the problem is picking something that's not in the top 3 and then getting really good at it still doesn't help you because if you're playing against someone who is also as good as you, but they have a better deck, then you don't, it's like, I mean, you can't win, right? Like, that's just how that goes. Like, imagine if you're playing yourself, but just as good, playing the same deck for just as long, but they're playing a better version, like a better deck. Like, that's the problem.
Yeah, I very much like have struggled with that now too. You know, I think I've said this on here before. I'm sure it's been a while. So if you're relatively new, then you probably haven't heard this. But like I fell into the red blue trap in 3 of the 4 DLCs I went to. It was just I don't really know what to play. I don't really know what the best decision for me right now is. Red blue's the best deck. I'm gonna play that, and I don't think it was the right decision. And we did that both times this year already in Bologna and in Milwaukee. We all played Blurple just because that was the best deck, and I didn't really have like a really solid level on anything else. And so I feel like me playing Blue Steel is like kind of like falling into that same trap where it's like one of those top decks, but I don't feel that great about it. And so, but that being said, like, yeah, I get what Hayden's point is like there's definitely a fine line between like not just playing the best deck, but still playing something that's like capable of winning. And I don't know how many like DLCs we've had overall, but there's been, I don't know, 5 color combinations that's won all of them. And so
I was just thinking about that. That'd be something interesting to go like at. Be like out of like every Mickey win, what's like the spread of like deck colors? I was like, I feel like I'd be very curious like what colors have won the most Mickeys.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Red, purple.
Yeah, I mean, red, purple.
Red, purple, red, blue, steel song,
or green steel.
Steel song, green steel. I bet those are your top 4.
Yeah. I feel like that'd be interesting to look at one day.
Yeah, it is. I would like to see someone compile those stats. But I think
we
there's
need
a lot
to do
of
that
good.
For next time.
I'll add another green purple to like the 2 people play green purple.
I think there's a lot of good ways you can approach the tournament, and like refining one deck that might not be the best or one of the top 3 decks is a good option, and you can get good matchups and you can outplay your opponent and you can win those. But like ideally in a ideal world, like we pick the best deck, we figure out what the best deck will be for that day at Richmond, and then we figure out that early, and then we choose to play that and we get really good with that instead of just like choosing something really early and not refining it and getting really, really good at it. Because yeah, you can play it, but I don't know if it's time well spent to not try other things and only play that deck if you're not doing it like hyper focused with like a lot of intense focus in it.
We've talked about that so many times. Like the time for people, like wondering how testing goes, like the time split between like trying off the wall stuff and trying to come up with something new. And I don't want to say outlandish, but something that's never been seen before, like Brainiac.
I'm telling you, we own the market of testing Black Cauldrons. There's no way.
I mean, that's a perfect example. I mean, the Brainiac deck came out of nowhere in Bologna, right? Like nobody had ever seen that before. Nobody had ever thought about it. Nobody thought it was possible. And it's good, but it's not going. It doesn't have a good enough matchup spread to like win a DLC. And so I think that's like really tough.
Not to undersell, who was the guy who played Justice?
Yeah.
Not to undersell him, but Mo literally did build that deck like for CCS. I know it was like last set, but he literally did put together.
Yeah, but they were doing like the Maleficent staff.
I know,
Chromacon bound stuff.
It was
not
more closer to anything else I've seen.
Yeah, it was similar for sure. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is it's very tough to test, to Hayden's point, to like know when to like make a decision and lock in and just be hyper focused and get really good at something versus like getting as much data and trying to figure out if there's something that you can catch people off guard with that's still good enough to like get you there. And it's a really fine line to figure out, because I feel like I've done both things and been trapped on both sides of that equation, where I've been hyper focused on something that I shouldn't have, like red blue. And then I feel like going into Milwaukee, I was just testing like way too much nonsense that didn't mean anything. And I should have been just hyper focused on Blurple and building a better Blurple deck, because that's all I was really comfortable with. And so as much as I didn't want to play it, I probably should have just built the best Blurple deck I could, because in the Blurple mirrors in Milwaukee, I was just not ready. My deck was not good enough to do it. But anyways,
and I think another, just while we're on this topic for another second, I think one of the things we don't talk about enough, we don't simplify it. We just simplify it to bad matchups. But I think one thing we should look at for Richmond is like what decks and their bad matchups can we figure out a way to win them, like without making the deck worse into other decks, and which have the most winnable bad matchups, and like figure that out. Because I think that's an interesting way to go about it.
I think you said this the other night on like understanding the lines that will allow you to win those bad matchups. Because if it's a bad matchup, sure, like that's going to happen. Like no deck just beats everything. But if you can at least understand what it takes and then like figure that out, because sometimes the matchup's so bad that it's just like, okay, this is an auto loss, and then you just give up on it, to your point. But if you can somehow figure out just at least like the glimmer of hope that you need to win those matchups, then you at least have something to play for, and you're not just, running around during your match just playing random things, like trying to make it work when it can't. You at least like have a game plan against it. So
yeah, so I think it would be interesting if we all like together put together a spreadsheet of like the decks, and then what we all agree are their bad matchups, and we lay it out, and then we look at it from like, okay, which one of these look like the most winnable from if you were playing that deck facing these bad matchups. Sure. Which one do you think is like the most winnable, and or what options that are there in the card pool that we can change these decks to make these matchups a little bit more winnable?
Right.
That'll be cool.
Yep. It's interesting for sure. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, again, so I guess like kind of where we started a long time ago before I DC'd and after I came back and all this stuff. I mean, the ultimate decision, I mean, all of this conversation has been about like getting ready for tournaments and how to prep and how to test and how to make decisions and how to, evaluate what the best decision for that is. And so I think ultimately comfort's a big pick. You can never underestimate that. And, if there's a deck that you should be playing that you're not comfortable on, I mean, that's definitely a preparation problem. But comfort's important. Understanding the meta is important. Understanding, what you expect to play against kind of in that same vein is important. And then understanding the matchup spread and then understanding each of the individual matchups that you're going to go into with said deck is all important to consider. And so, yeah, a lot of different things to go into preparation. And, I've definitely like had going into this weekend the thoughts on like, well, I just need to get ready for CCS and Richmond and, take this as a testing time. But like, this isn't a testing. Like I win this thing and I'm in Continentals, and so I very much am like backing off of that and like, okay, I have to just take something comfortable and really good. So anyways, next week will be a fun recap of my SCG Con CCQ run. And hopefully it's a good win. Hopefully it's a good one. Yeah. I mean, I'd really hope so too. That would be a pretty baller episode. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all I've got. Anything anybody else wants to cover before we go back to the Discord call and just keep...
Well, we never really finished the matchup spread that we were talking about.
Oh, sure.
I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, let's just finish. So I'll say 30%. Oh, I don't know.
25% purple steel.
I'll say 27% purple steel. Okay. I'll say 25. I wish I could remember. I think there's only ever 2 decks above 20%, or it might even be only 1 deck above 20%. I really wish I had the stats again. I remember somebody said that, and I went back and looked at it, and I was like, yeah, I always overestimate the top decks way too much. So I'll say like 27% purple steel. So like right on the line of like 20% for blue steel. And then I think it falls off a cliff. I think it gets really jumbled up in like the low teens between blue, green, green, blue, or green, purple, and blurple and dogs, all like low teens.
What about ruby amethyst?
I think low teens. I think it's in that same boat. I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's good, but it might be high single digits. That might be like in your 6 to 7%.
There'll probably be at least 3 people playing it.
I think there'll be a lot of people playing. I think there's been a lot of different people testing it, and some of the truthers that used to just be like hardcore Ruby Amethyst players are like, "Are we back? Are we back?"
No, for sure. There was like 3 in our 36-person.
No, there's more than that. There was like 7
in our.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I don't think there was 7, but
no, there was, because I played 2 of them. Lexi, our teammate, played 1, and then I think there was at least 2 or 3 others.
I mean, let's say if there was 5, let's say 5. I mean, that's like
shark tournament.
That's a 7, a 7th, like 12% of the field. So,
and it's a scary deck. Like if you see it and you haven't had games against it, you can just lose.
Yeah. If you look on that win percentage chart, it has 56% win rate.
The win rate is the best. It's the second best. First behind is purple steel. And look at its win rate into purple steel. It's almost even. It's the best one into purple steel.
It's one of the better ones. Yeah. It's one of the better ones.
I mean, I'm telling you, it seems like a good option for this weekend. All we have to do is make its purple steel matchup a little bit better. That's all we have to do. I
know you guys, and I will definitely consider it. But I'm
you sent me the chart.
But not because of Ruby Amethyst, because of everything else and how hard blue
data doesn't lie.
All
right. I know it was more about how hard blue steel.
We found the 2 truthers in the group. They're about to make Zach go off the deep end.
They can't make me do that. I won't cave to the RP peer pressure. Anyways, all I'm saying. So again, my final recap: purple steel number 1 by a pretty wide margin. Blue steel number 2, and then like your 3 through 6 are all very low teens to high single digits, like all right there together. How they end up going, I mean, I think that's just very dependent on what people want to play. I think anytime there's a board wipe involved, so there's going to be the middle of the ground, semi-serious, okay players that are like, oh, I'm gonna crutch this board wipe and not fully know what they're doing. And so I think that there will be quite a few people on green blue steel. I think with Mo's guide and all of the hype he's gotten behind green purple, there will be a good chunk of people on that. And then Dogs has had a lot of success the last week and a half or so, and so I think there will be a good chunk of people on that too. And that's where I'll end it.
Bye, guys.
I was about to say awkward silence. Okay, that is the official sign off then this time. So thanks everybody again for listening, as always, watching on YouTube, subscribing, all of the fun things.
This message was brought to you by the president.
Wait, we didn't mention our Metafy.
I did mention it early on, but yeah, we should mention it again though, in case that got skipped over somehow.
You're Metafy? The Metafied?
Mo's Meta, the modified Metafy. Well, that was a terrible joke. Mo's Metafied is linked in the description below. If you want help.
No, Matified.
Oh, Matified. I thought you. Yeah. Yes, we did forget to that. Yeah, we partnered with Matified. Does the custom play mats. We have a link to the affiliate below if you want to get a sweet custom foil play mat. You can check that out below as well.
These
And
names are going to be way
help support the team.
similar.
I know. Matify. It's okay. We'll get through it.
And then we have a guy named Matt.
Okay. We will catch you guys next week for a recap of the CCQ. Thanks everybody for being here. Catch you guys next time.